Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Friday, which means another crypto interest rates and news update. Today is the 10th of June 2022. And as always, we start by taking a look at the interest rate changes. Now, no update for the last week here. I did all the updates for the beginning of June changes, and I haven't seen any new coins announced on any of the platforms that we track in the last kind of week, but I will be going over these figures in the next few days, just making sure they are completely up to date. Don't forget also, if you're on a smaller screen resolution, if you scroll sideways, you'll get the final figures for Yield App and Hoddlenort, which may be off the screen on smaller screen resolutions. Moving on over to the token prices, Bitcoin relatively kind of flat. We've had a nice spike up in the middle of the week and then gave up all those, another little spike up, and then we've come back down and we're just trading down towards where we were essentially kind of a week ago. It's down 1.4% over the last 7 days, so no massive kind of changes, 0.2% in the last hour and only down 0.1 in the last 24 hours. So apart from those kind of big spikes and troughs midweek, trading still within this kind of sideways band between sort of 29 and 31,000 largely. No breakouts to the upside, no breakouts to the downside at the moment, so trading essentially kind of sideways. And a lot of the tokens, so Chronos down 6.6%, Nexo down 3.6%, Yield App down 5.4%, sort of following kind of Bitcoin's lead, slightly larger kind of losses than Bitcoin, which you would expect from tokens. But the anomaly this week is Celsius. Now, it had a pretty decent week last week on the back of some pretty poor performance for the Celsius token over the last few months, but down over a third this last 7 days. So another really bad week of Cell token kind of sell-off. Yield App had a really bad week last week. Doesn't seem to have regained any of that, unfortunately. Sometimes when you have a big drop, you can get like a bounce back. Unfortunately for Celsius, when they had that big bounce last week, it's dropped back down. So the woes certainly for the Celsius price in the short term don't seem to be over, unfortunately. But moving on to some stories, we're starting with a Nexo. So this just came through yesterday, an early announcement of some rate changes for July. So still almost 3 weeks away, but nice to see that we get a nice early kind of announcement of these kind of things. And basically they are going to be bringing some balance limits in and tweaking some things. It will affect Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, Paxos Gold and stablecoins, as well as the Nexo token. But essentially they are bringing in these kind of balance limits for some new coins which didn't have them before, but also kind of tweaking these balance limits. So if we start for the base rate at the bottom, you can see here the top tier now will be done in US dollars. So a lot of platforms have done it on a Bitcoin basis. So a lot of platforms, 0.1 Bitcoin earns at the top tier and then it drops down. Nexo slightly different. They're doing it all on a dollar basis. So the first $25,000 of Bitcoin link will earn the sort of maximum rate, and then over and above that less. So that will be 3% for Bitcoin and Link, 1.5% over and above 25,000. Ethereum's 100,000, earning 4%, and 100,000 on stablecoins as well, earning 8%, and then dropping down to 1.5 and 4% over that. Paxos Gold is $25,000 again, 3% below that, 1% above that, and finally the Nexo token. So no balance limits on this, but there will be some tweaks to the rates. Now this is just the base rate, and then the balance limits essentially go up with each of the different loyalty levels. So if you become a silver loyalty level even, we'll just go over Bitcoin just to explain how it goes. So Bitcoin on a base level 25,000, silver level 40,000, on the gold level it's 200,000, so a nice jump up there, and then on the platinum level 4 million. So as you move up the tiers, particularly there seems to be a big jump between silver and gold. So if you are holding a reasonable amount of Bitcoin on the kind of platform, it's something that you may want to look at. All sort of other kind of issues with kind of like tokenomics and stuff like that aside, but if you are near these kind of bands, you may want to consider maybe kind of earning in kind of Nexo to get yourself over that thing. Not financial advice, and those who watched the last week's video will know that I'm not a fan of platforms that have their own kind of tokens, have their own token in order to kind of earn more or anything like that, or lock things up. I'm not a massive kind of fan of that. So not financial advice by any stretch, but just be aware if you are holding stuff on Nexo, there will be these balances and these tiers coming in, and you will jump in and out of these if you're near these as the price of Bitcoin goes up and down. And because it's done in US dollar value rather than Bitcoin value or Ethereum value or link value, etc., etc. So they will be coming in July. So nice that we've got some advance notice of that. If you are interested in the Nexo token, there is a specific page. All these articles are linked in the description below, but there is a specific page which is quite useful actually, which goes through all the kind of like tokenomics, exactly what the different amounts of kind of like tokens kind of give you, where you can get them, the sort of timelines and stuff like that. So that's quite a useful thing if you were considering investing in Nexo tokens. Moving on from that, Crypto.com, we haven't mentioned their supercharger for a little while, but they are now in the new supercharger, which is an Ethereum one. So we've got 2 months of this, essentially. There is an allocation of $500,000 worth of Ethereum, and it's currently in the charging period. So you've got 2 months of charging, and then it will go into the sort of redemption kind of period. I'm sorry, acceptance and reward period, it's called, not demand. But yeah, so if you're interested in Crypto.com, if you hold a number of tokens and tick all the kind of boxes to participate in this on the exchange, the new supercharger for Ethereum is now live. It's been live for a day or so. Another little story, I just got an email from Yield app earlier, and basically they are doing a Coinly discount. So this link here pre-fills the discount link, which is just Yield 20. It seems to be all uppercase here. I don't know if that's relevant, but if you are sorting out your crypto taxes, I actually use Coinly. I think it's quite a good kind of platform, but you can get 20% off if you use the Yield app referral code. So if you're interested in doing that, you can follow this link here. If it doesn't go over automatically, just put Yield 20, all one word, into the payment thing, I presume, at the end. But I'm a big fan of Coinly, and you can sign up and use it for kind of free, and then just kind of pay as and when you go over the kind of like limits that are there. So you can sort of test it all out and stuff like that before having to kind of pay. Moving on to another story. So another thing from Yield app is their referral program. So they've had their referral program for a bit, but they are doing a kind of a sort of like kind of bonus. I think it runs till the end of June, where if you refer your friends, you get between 100 and 1,000 Yield tokens. Now I do have a Yield app sign up link in my description below, so if you're interested in checking out, not financial advice, but feel free to use my referral link, and you can refer as many kind of like friends as you like. So if you are using the platform, or you know someone who's using the platform, get them to send you a referral link, and they'll get a few tokens from this. So that's quite a nice little bonus at the moment. Moving on to Hoddlenort. So a couple of stories from Hoddlenort at the moment. And that is initially this sweepstake. So it's a token swap sweepstake. So many months ago, I did a comparison of the swap feature in all these different apps, and Celsius came out top, the cheapest fees, followed by Hoddlenort. So the swap feature is pretty reasonable on Hoddlenort, but if you are doing any swaps in their web app, you will be entered into this sweepstakes. So you have to swap essentially $500 of USDC or USDT or DAI, 0.28 Ethereum, 0.017 Bitcoin, or wrapped Bitcoin, same amount. If you do one of those swaps, you will get basically a token to be entered into the sweepstake, and they're giving away some kind of goodies. They have some merch, which includes a phone stand, a portable battery, and a flask. So if you were to be swapping, you might want to kind of take advantage of this, get your swaps in before the 16th of June. So it runs for a week. So it started yesterday. It will run for 6 more days from when I'm releasing this kind of video, and then you'll be entered into that sweepstake. And then also with Hoddlenort, and I don't have the link here unfortunately, but they have now essentially enabled Luna. So this is the new Luna, so Luna, Luna Classic, which is like the old version of kind of Luna, and UST, which again is the old version of UST. They've enabled swaps within their kind of platform. They did email out. I don't actually have the page here, unfortunately, but in the description below is the actual page. Let me just go and grab that for a sec. Let me just add a tab in there. So you can see here, This is the page, so this doesn't change. This is in the description below, but any updates to the TerraLuna situation is updated here. This was first published on May the 13th, and the last update was on June the 7th. But the last update basically is that the swaps are allowed with that. I believe there are no withdrawals for the new Luna, but there are now withdrawals enabled for Luna Classic and UST, which is the old version of Luna as well. So you can check this page for all the latest kind of updates. Quite useful to see, as there are a lot of changes going on with new Luna and old Luna, etc, etc. And then finally onto BlockFi. So I just received this email fairly recently, but they are doing what they term a summer of crypto. So BlockFi summer of crypto, and they are doing a series of kind of like webinars via Zoom. So if you have a Zoom account, you can get a free Zoom account. But if you are interested, the first one, which is on June the 15th at 12 p.m. EST, that's Eastern Standard Time, is on smart contracts. So if you're interested in smart contracts, you know, you can sign up to this webinar. There will be more coming throughout the kind of summer, but sign up and you'll be able to kind of like go into kind of Zoom, watch this kind of webinar. So if you're interested in smart contracts or just seeing how this kind of works, the link for this again will be in the description below. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching as always. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. Look after yourselves. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video, but until then, have a great day. Bye bye.